You put effort into something, and for a short moment, before anything gets measured, you actually feel good about it. Maybe you trained, maybe you worked, maybe you created something, or maybe you finally handled something you had been avoiding. And for a few moments, there's this quiet feeling of, okay, I did something real today. But then, almost automatically, your mind wants proof. You check the numbers, the weight, the money, the views, the results, the response, the progress, something out there. And if the number looks good, you feel lighter, like maybe you are on the right path. But if it does not, something inside you gets quiet very fast. And that is the strange part. The effort did not disappear. The action did not become meaningless just because the number isn't there. The fact that you showed up did not suddenly stop counting, but because one number did not confirm it fast enough, the whole thing starts feeling smaller. You know, a workout can feel less valuable because the mirror does not change. A week of effort can feel pointless because the money did not move. A meaningful step can feel weak because nobody noticed it. And that is a dangerous place to live because now you are not only using numbers as feedback, you are letting them decide whether your effort mattered and sometimes even whether you matter. And I understand why this matters or why this happens. Numbers feel so freaking clean. They feel objective. They give you something to hold on. A number is simple. It either moved or it didn't. It either went up or it went down. And when life feels uncertain, that simplicity can become addictive. You want something outside of you to tell you that you are improving. You want proof that the work is not wasted. You want a sign that you are not behind, not failing, not fooling yourself. So you start checking, and this is only human. You check again and again, and slowly the number becomes more than information. It becomes your emotional permission. So I want to be very, very clear in these videos. Numbers matter. I'm not going to sit here and pretend they do not. If you're training your body, weight, strength, measurement, and performance matters. If you're building a business, money matters. If you're improving your skill, results matter. Or if you're creating something in the world, feedback matters. Reality has to be part of the conversation. Ignoring all those numbers out there completely is not wisdom. Sometimes it is just hiding in the other direction. But there is a difference between using numbers as information and using numbers as proof of your own worth. Information helps you adjust. Worth decides how you feel about yourself. And if every result becomes a verdict of who you are, growth becomes emotionally exhausting very fast. That is one of the traps of trying to improve your life. Everything becomes measurable. Your body, your money, your productivity, your sleep, your steps, your performance, your progress, your attention, your results. And again, measurement can be useful. It can show you patterns. It can help you get honest. It can reveal whether something is actually working. But it can also make you forget that not all progress shows up immediately in the numbers. Maybe your body did not change much yet, but you're becoming more consistent if you work out on a weekly basis. Maybe the money is not where you want it yet, but your decisions are getting cleaner. Maybe the result is still quiet, but your thinking is sharper. And maybe nobody else sees the difference yet. But you are returning faster after bad days, or getting better, or improving, or being more clear, being more present. Those things count too. And the problem is not that you care about the results. Caring is normal. If you're putting effort into something, of course you want to see it work. The problem starts when early results carry too much emotional weight. One look becomes proof that the whole plan is either working or not. One bad day becomes proof that you are falling behind. Or one weak result becomes proof that maybe you're not made for this. That is too much pressure for one number to carry, especially when growth is often messy, delayed, uneven, and honestly, sometimes even very, very confusing. And I have to remind myself of this too. A day can be valuable before it is visible, validated of the value. A habit can be working before the result is obvious, and the skill can be improving before your outcomes prove it. A whole path you are going can be forming before it looks impressive from the outside. And that does not mean you ignore results. It means you replace them correctly. Results are feedback. They can tell you something about your strategy, your consistency, your inputs, your timing, your decisions, your direction, and everything. But they cannot be the only thing deciding whether the work matters or not. This is a big part of why Riova here right now exists. I do not want this to become another place where everything is about external proof or more success, more status, more visible progress, more pressure. The mission is deeper than that. It is about self mastery from the inside out, thinking clearer, more honest, having better standards, less escapes, more ownership, a stronger relationship with yourself while you are building something meaningful out there, something real. Because if you measure the wrong things, you can miss the exact growth that is happening underneath the surface. You can become more consistent and still feel like nothing is happening because the number is quiet. You can become more honest and still feel behind because the proof is not visible enough yet. You can become stronger internally and still judge yourself by one weak external signal. And that is where you have to be careful. If you only respect progress when it is visible or when the numbers add up, you will always be emotionally late to your own growth. The balance in between is the important thing. Look at the numbers, but do not worship them. Use them, but do not hand them to your identity or decide if you are worth it or not. If your body is not changing, learn from it. If your money is not moving, look at the decisions you make. If your work is not producing the results you want, adjust the process. Those are useful responses. Does this mean I'm failing? Is usually not the most useful question, you know? That question does not make the next action cleaner. It just makes the whole process heavier. You need to separate feedback from control. Feedback is what the world gives you back. Control is what you choose next. You know, numbers on the scale is feedback. Training, eating, sleeping, and showing up again are control. Money is feedback. Creating value, managing risk, learning, saving, building, and making better decisions are control. Confidence is often feedback, but keeping promises is control. Peace is often feedback. Boundaries, truth, and order are control. So if you obsess your feedback while neglecting control, you become reactive. You keep staring at the scoreboard while forgetting to play the game. And I think that is where a lot of pressure comes from. You keep checking the thing cannot fully control yet, while avoiding the thing you can. You check the result instead of improving the input. You check whether life improves instead of asking whether you act honestly. You check the scoreboard because the next controllable action feels uncomfortable. And again, feedback is not the enemy, but it becomes unhealthy when it takes the steering wheel from your standards. And in between this video, I want to tell you this. If this whole message here is landing for you, please stick with the Self-Mastery playlist. It is built for exactly the kind of reflection, you know, not as a random motivation, but as a way to come back to yourself when the outside world gets too loud. There are episodes about movement versus progress, being divided, needing more truth, or being overloaded. Videos about waiting until you feel ready and starting over. They are all connected here because what you measure shapes what you become. If you only measure attention, you may start chasing attention. If you only measure comparison, you may betray your own path. So maybe for a while, measure a quieter layer too. Not instead of results, but alongside them. Measure whether you showed up or your attention getting cleaner than last month. Measure whether you return faster after a bad day. Those things matter. Or simply measure whether you keep one promise when it would have been easier to disappear. These things may not look as exciting as a big number on a screen, but they are often the foundation that creates better numbers later. That is especially true in the early stages of anything meaningful. The beginning often looks so unimpressive. It looks repetitive, quiet, awkward. It looks like small improvement that nobody else would even notice. But those improvements are not nothing. If your standards are rising, something is happening. If your consistency is stronger, something is happening. If your ability to recover is better, something is happening. You need to become intelligent enough to notice progress before it becomes obvious to everybody else to see. When you look at trees or at fruits or at anything that grows, fruits do not look like harvest. Foundations does not look like height, you know? The beginning of a strong identity does not always look impressive. It often looks like returning quietly, repeating simple things, learning from small feedback, and not disappearing just because the proof is not loud. And I know that can be hard because insecurity wants proof today. It wants to know immediately whether the effort was worth it. But deep work does not always report back within 24 hours. A body is not defined by one workout. A business is not defined by one attempt. And life is not defined by one day, whether it's good or bad. That is active patience, not passive patience, not sitting around and pretending everything is fine. Active patience means you keep doing the controllable things while the visible result is still forming. You keep refining the process. You keep improving the inputs. You keep showing up. You keep looking at feedback, but you do not let it steal your center. You keep measuring the roots while the harvest is still growing. You focus on the things you can control and can manage to improve yourself. So here at the end of the video, let's make it practical. Choose 3 measurements for this season that you're inside your control. Not 20, 3 simple things. Maybe one is consistency. Did you show up? Answer it honestly. Another one could be honesty. Did you stop lying to yourself and what is actually happening when you stopped it, you know? And another one could be something like improvement. Did you learn one thing and apply it? That is enough. You can still look at the external results. Yes, you can still study what is working, but your self-respect is not built only on the number. It is built on the standards you keep returning to. Because the life you want will not be built only by staring at proof. It will be built by becoming the kind of person who creates proof over time. And that person is shaped through the quiet things, through repetitions nobody sees, through decisions you keep improving before the world fully understands it, through work you continue doing, even when the first signal is small. And when the numbers do come, you will be able to handle them better. If they are good, they will not make you arrogant. If they are bad, they will not destroy you. They will become what they should have been all along. Information. A signal. Something to learn from. Not a verdict of your worth. Not a weapon against your confidence. And not the thing that decides whether your inner work counts. So today, measure something better. Measure your honesty. Measure your return to the work, to the craft. Measure your focus. Or the promises you kept. Measure whether you improved one small part of the process. And yes, look at the results too. Learn from them. Adjust. But do not hand them your entire identity.